All right, we're down to our last 2 mags, and I can't think of a better way to do it than with the plate rack. Let's go. What's up, YouTube? McMean Machine here. As you can tell by all the brass behind me, we just got done doing a gun review today. We're reviewing the Arex Delta M. That is like the 10th time I've done that intro. I'm not even kidding. So difficult. Like, you misspeak, it's all. Hello, my fellow YouTube enjoyers. Welcome to McMean Machine. We have a gun review for you today, so let's go over what we're reviewing. The Arex Delta M Gen 2. Arex is a company in Slovenia imported by Global Ordnance. And the gun comes with 2 mags, a cleaning kit, and a carrying case. Before we get into the review, let's go front to back. So up front we have a full-length steel guide rod with a barrel that has a slightly thicker end, I suspect to help with lockup. We also have a polished feed ramp. Moving on down, we have an OK trigger. Really, it's actually pretty good. I take it back. Just to show you that here. Go down, a little bit of creep. Probably about a 5-pound brake. Show you the reset. Kicks you right out. Brake. We also have an ambidextrous mag release here. Going on back. We have a cock striker indicator. Disappears when you fire it. We have ambidextrous controls with the ambidextrous mag release and slide stop. Something about that mag release is when I first got this gun, you would really cram your thumb down on that thing and it would not want to go. It did work itself out with time, but it's still not really a great design. Reason being is this mag release, if you can see at all, probably not, shaped like a pyramid kind of. Not like an equilateral traditional pyramid, but it does come to a point. And when you get a hard to press magazine release that has a pointed end, you can imagine that doesn't feel very good jamming your thumb on it. So that could use some work, but it works itself out and you'll get used to it. Something else that's noteworthy about the magazine is take CZ P10 mags. That's pretty cool. So if you've already invested in that line, you've already got some extra mags. I will say at the range that we did have some hiccups. Take a look here. Nice little side thing. This takes CZ P10 mags. Maybe. So if you want to use them for range purposes, but not for home defense, that's what I'd recommend. But it's a nice option to have. Something else that's neat about this gun is if you look, you will not see a external extractor or notches for the slide release. I just think that's cool. It does have, obviously has an internal extractor, but I just, part of the reason I like firearms is they just accomplish the same thing a lot of different ways, and I like how each manufacturer does their own thing, and we have no exception here. Something else that I appreciate about this firearm is the flared magwell that actually works relatively well. If you've ever had a built-in magwell on a gun, you know that a lot of times if it's not just almost straight, it doesn't really work anyways. But with this firearm, I can put that thing almost at a full 45-degree angle and it goes in, where a lot of my other firearms, it might take it a little bit this way, a little bit that way, but it won't work unless you're right on the money. Now on to the review of the firearm. How'd it do? It was 100% reliable. We shot 500 rounds through the gun. It was mostly Federal Champion, but we also shot 50 rounds of CCI Blazer brass, as well as 50 rounds of CCI Blazer brass with the aluminum case. We shot 4 different types of defensive ammunition, which is going to be Fiosheet Defense Dynamics, SIG V-Crown, Barnes TAC XP, as well as, there's one more. I don't remember what it was right now. It must not be, oh, Winchester Silvertip. That was the last one. And it fed all of those just perfectly fine. Okay, I have a magazine here loaded up with 4 kinds of defensive ammunition. Let's just see how she feeds all of them.
Ran perfect with all.
As far as the handling goes, it handles pretty well. It comes with 4 interchangeable back straps, if I didn't mention that already. And the gun does get you it allows you a nice high grip on the gun. This additional checkering, the checkering, by the way, it's pretty good. I'd maybe like it slightly more aggressive, but I like sandpaper on my hands. But it points very natural. The only thing I really wasn't a fan of is the lack of palm swell. That being said, a lot of people praise this gun for how thin it is, and I can verify it is pretty thin. It's not as thin as like your SIG P365, but you could carry this no problem, and I don't think printing would be too much of an issue as long as you're not a very small individual. Point of reference, I'm 5'6" and I weigh 156 pounds, and it's not really printing on me unless I'm wearing like summer clothes, but in this time of year in fall, no problem. In terms of how the gun did with recoil, I found it to be quite comfortable. I've seen a lot of people say that this gun's really snappy. I don't see where they get that from, to be honest with you. Take a look here.
Not too bad. I've heard a lot of people say that this gun recoils quite a bit. It's really not so bad.
Something else I appreciated about the gun is the slide release. Instead of just the normal texturing that you get or checkering on slide releases, they kind of have this U, and that just really catches the meat of your thumb or finger very well. And I wouldn't say it goes effortlessly, but your thumb catches it very naturally, and it just works well. Show you the trigger one more time since I have it cocked. Pretty clean brake, that's a 90-degree brake. Reset mostly just kicks you out, and there you go. One critique I will say I have about the trigger is I'm not a fan of polymer trigger shoes personally, and the geometry is a little bit weird. I wish they just went with a flat trigger. If you notice, I have a red fiber optic sight on this gun. That's because it takes Springfield XD sights. I've also heard it takes the SIG P320 sights. Cannot verify that. I don't own a 320. But on that note, this is an FCU gun, which means it has a serialized trigger component that comes out with these 2 pins here that comes out, and they have a variety of grip frames. You can get multiple colors, multiple sizes. You can get the full size frame that will fit on this gun and make it like a Glock 19X style gun with a 4-inch barrel there, and that's pretty cool. Furthermore, they also have optics ready slide. I did not get the optics ready version because I found this one specifically on a really good deal. It was south of 230 bones, all right? So $230 less than for a gun that has an FCU and somewhat of a track record. That's a good deal, and I'm glad I bought it. All in all, it was a good gun. Decent trigger, good slide stop. I'd say good mag release, but maybe it's more of a mag stop, as difficult as that thing was. I would say the slide serrations, they could use some work. They're not the greatest, but all in all, do I think this is a good gun? I do. Would I buy it again if I had the option? I would. Yeah, I mean, you really can't, for that price, you'll find them all over the place. If you look, you can find it for the same price I got it. But I just think it's all in all a good gun. And what I have yet to mention is that this is going to be the first video in a series of videos that covers FCUs. So if you want to see what all's out there, maybe you're interested in getting to a serialized chassis pistol and you don't want to get a SIG P320 for obvious reasons, we got you covered. Up next, we will be doing IWI Masada. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Before we close out our video, we have 2 more things to go over. So each video at the end, I'm going to share something related to the Christian faith. I really like guns, but I really love Jesus. And the reason I'm on this earth is to talk about him. So I'm going to be spreading some fact or some interesting thing around the Christian faith. And then secondly, we're just going to do some sort of worldly fact, right? So today we're going to do a verse instead of a fact, and then we'll go on to the worldly. So here it is. This is Micah 6:8 NASB is the translation I use. And it says, "He has told you what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God?" Just one of those verses you see stitched on pillows, but it's a good one. And then lastly, worldly fact. Just a few years ago, Chiquita, the banana company, was found guilty in court for hiring terrorists. Thanks for watching. So I was just reloading some mags. Take a look at this. One of my spent rounds landed perfectly in the empty ammo tray. Call me Dante Culpepper.